Thank you for joining us for another episode of Cryptocurrent. Just one quick reminder. Cryptocurrent is a cryptocurrency and blockchain education platform that's bridging the gap between the curious newcomers who are just discovering the space and the thought leaders who are shaping its future. All opinions expressed by Richard Carthon, the Cryptocurrent team, and their guests on this show are exclusively their own opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Richard, the team, and their guests as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow as financial advice. This show and any other Cryptocurrent production is exclusively for informational purposes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrent. Your host here, Richard Carthon. And today we got a repeat special guest. That's right. He was with us a year ago telling us about his amazing company, Aurox, and a lot has happened in that year. Some similarities, and we'll talk about those as well. But we got my man, G, who is the CEO of Aurox. If you remember it back on episode 183, for all you new listeners, go and check that out. For all those who already peeped that, get ready for a cool update. G, how you been, man?
It's been good. Considering everything, we've been actually pretty good. We've been keeping our head down, developing, moving forward, and getting ready for the next this next run. But I mean, in my opinion, it's going to be a short down market, but we're going to be ready.
Yes, and I'm sure we're going to get to unpack that as well. I too think that a reversal is imminent. But man, what's crazy is I was listening to our old episode before jumping onto this one, and at the time we had just came back from the Miami Bitcoin conference, had a really good time, and that's when the market was also going from like all-time highs back down. Bitcoin in that interview was around like 33,000. Ethereum was at like 1,900. Fast forward to today, Bitcoin's currently like 30,000. Ethereum's like 1,900. Like we're almost in a similar path, almost a full year later. So it is interesting. But obviously last time we saw by the end of the year, a lot of good things, new all-time highs in Bitcoin, new all-time highs and across the market, $2 trillion market, all this stuff. And whether the market's going up or going down, it's your sweet spot. Aurox, that's what it's all about, man. Like, so give a quick refresher reminder to all those who are new of what Aurox is and how y'all are built for making money regardless of what's going on in the market.
Yeah. So as far as the market conditions, there's always ways to make money. There's always to invest in the proper places. It doesn't really matter if it's up, down. There's traders in all directions. So with Aurox, we first started developing the terminal. It's an all-in-one trading terminal. You can track like 60 exchanges, hundreds of thousands of pairs, have multiple charts on your screen, customized workspaces, scanners, screeners, even proprietary indicators, everything that you really need to make smart and educated decisions. So we do help the users, or at least our platform does, help the users recognize opportunities in the market. And I didn't even, we're so busy with development that I just don't monitor the market that often. Like we're just like going 100 miles per hour right now on the business side. And I just randomly, checked our Twitter and someone had tagged us, thank God for Aurox. Like I got out of the market because they saw like the market kind of, dipping, and then our indicator triggered like a short at the peak. And I was like, wow, I guess it's still working like we designed it several years back. But that was just the first stage. Now we're moving into the next stages. I guess the revenue models for the company and the utilities of the company.
Absolutely, and definitely want to dive in all the newness. But for the brand new person who's coming into this, a lot of people who invest into this space think they are traders and they are investors, and so they come in with very little understanding of what it means to trade, how to have indicators, and having ways to when to get in, when to get out, and what Aurochs does is provide these indicators to help you understand what's a good price entry, when's a good time to take profit, what is a good signal if things are starting to turn down, if you are in a position to get out or potential short the position. So I know there's a lot of different things in place. Can you kind of talk to some of those different types of indicators within the Aurochs program that investors who are trying to become traders can utilize?
Yeah, so our goal really is to essentially, with every skill, you need to get good at it. You need good experience. To be a good trader, you need years of experience. You need to read, learn from other people, and make mistakes. So our goal with the indicators and the screeners and everything else is to shorten that time frame, as well as shorten the amount of losses that you might take right off the bat. Because it's just part of the game. Like, you can't win every single one. People think that, you just like with these proprietary indicators that it's going to be 100% correct, but it's not the case. It's impossible. If that was the case, I'd be sitting on a beach somewhere, potentially owning the entire world. But our indicators really help try to shorten that time frame and help you manage your risk. So one of them, for example, we released not too long ago. It's still in the beta phases, but it is available for users. Is our AI indicator. And it essentially has like built-in risk management. So what we tell users is it essentially triggers a green arrow when you're supposed to go long, and a red arrow when you're supposed to go short. And you can utilize that as both entries and exits as well. But we tell our users, when you enter the market, let's say the green arrow, start taking profits along the way. Like, never wait for the peak. Like, it's impossible. You will never be able to catch the top of the pyramid. So entering the green, taking profits along the way. And then the reason it has risk management is the next signal will almost always trigger at least above or very slightly near the initial entry trigger. So let's say you entered like at $1,000, it will either trigger it a little, maybe at 1,500, or it will trigger it maybe like 990 or 1,010 or somewhere near that to get you out of the position before it gets really bad. So that's the one thing that new users have problems with is risk management. They don't know when to abandon the trade, or they're down red and they're like, no, it's going to bounce, and it just keeps going into red. And our AI indicator does that for them. You might take a few losses here and there, but the winning trades are huge. It's really trying to make sure that you just don't lose a lot of money.
That's right. And to speak to that, risk management for a lot of new traders, I think is one of the biggest lessons you have to take. You can come in and have some initial success, right? You can come in and do some leverage trading, or just do regular trading and see some pretty big returns and be like, oh yeah, I got this. This is easy. And then you see your first loss. And then you're like, because you're competitive, you've never done it before, you don't set a trailing stop loss or any stop loss. And you're just like, oh, well, it'll recover. It'll do whatever it's going to do. And, potentially with enough time, and, whether it's a course of days, months, years, yes, it might recover. But if you are trading and you're on a shorter time horizon, you don't have that time. You need the liquidity to keep getting into other trades. And so risk management is a massive lesson that people need to learn. And if you've already created a tool that can help people with their risk management, man, that's a huge value add to all you non-traders out there that are trying to learn this space. Like, that is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the main reason that specific, the AI indicator, and again, it's free. Everyone can check it out. Was the reason that was developed is because you could be 100%, or maybe not 100. You can be like 95% accurate, but that 5% that you're not, and you're not managing the risk right, you can just get completely wiped out and you're done. Whereas this indicator is actually, I think, like 60 to 70% accurate, but because it has such a good risk management implemented into it, that you essentially make profit, a significant profit on the good trades, and then very little losses on the batch rate, so it offsets. Like even though it's not like insanely accurate because of the risk management, it allows you to profit more at the end of the day.
Right. Which is great, man. And, over the course of the year, you've obviously been able to build that indicator, and you have a ton of other things that have been on the roadmap that you've been able to roll out. One of them being, I believe, is the wallet extension. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So we're about to release that, the alpha version. Actually, I need to set up a group to get our users, a handful of users, start testing it. And then we'll release a beta version again with a handful of our users starting mid next month. And then the production version will go live soon after that, depending on, if there's bugs or issues that we need to fix. But it's going to be very unique. I mean, this is something that personally I wanted as well. After messing around with the competitors out there and missing all these like simple things. Like I don't know, for example, our wallet's going to have a built-in history of your portfolio. So you'll see like a chart, just like you should on most exchanges or most wallets actually. But the competitors out there are just not doing that. So that's something that I wanted to see, something that we implemented, being able to track live prices directly into the wallet and being able to swap very easily as well, gasless trading, etc. So we implemented some of these cool functionalities into this wallet, and I'm excited to get that out of the door. And,
hold up, I'm intrigued by that. Sorry, there's something in there that like I think is really important. That, to your point, I haven't seen as far as like actual data analytics, right? So like if you bring in these coins into your wallet, why can't you see a portfolio? Why can't you see performance? Why can't you see like, hey, if you actually held on to this coin, or if you did whatever, here's what that would have looked like over time, or just simple things like that, or actually having, when you put a coin in, it tell you the actual pricing even. And I know that like has to do with being able to pull in data from it being listed on a thing like a Coin Market Cap or CoinGecko, et cetera. But those are big those are big problems. If you're solving that, I personally am interested, because like that sounds really amazing.
Yeah, no, it's tied directly into our terminal backend. Like we have all the data from basically every exchange. So now users can, like for example, like I have like 20 different wallets on my MetaMask, and I have absolutely no clue what's in the wallets unless I go into them. And then I also don't know when I bought them, how I bought them, who sent me the tokens that I have in the wallets. I guess it literally just God knows what. So those issues that we came across ourselves, just like we did with the terminal when we first developed it, are the same issues that we're trying to resolve now with the extension and what's not available out there. It's just very simple things. Like I just want to know when I bought, like what price did I buy this up? Like it shouldn't be that difficult to know
Right.
that. But yeah, and it's not very difficult to develop it, and that's why we created it.
Excellent. Well, sounds like you got some alpha users coming out. If someone who's listening to this and they're like, hey, I want to put my hand up, can I be one of these? Or at what point do you think a beta version will be released where more people will be able to come and experiment using this service?
Yeah, so beta, we're looking at about June 15th or so. Actually, I kind of want to, probably around June 15th. I hate setting dates, but that's around that time period is when we'll have the beta. But even the beta won't be, it won't be public. Last thing I want, especially when it comes to a wallet, is like, you can't have a bug in a wallet. You just can't. So that's why we're taking into these phases. So the alpha will have probably like 50 of our users. Beta will have maybe like a couple hundred, and then production, that should be completely smooth and everything should be ironed out. Sounds great.
Well, keep me in mind on this, because I know I'm interested in checking out that wallet. But another thing that I know that you rolled out is an app. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, it's going to be same as the extension. So there's going to be two products. There's going to be the extension for browsers. It's going to be like a wallet that you can interact with decentralized applications, track everything, swap, etc. And then the mobile application will be based around the same concept. So it'll be a native application for Android and iPhone, and it'll be something on the go. It'll have the app connections and things like that, but what we did is really mimic the UI and UX of a centralized exchange, essentially, like Coinbase, Robinhood, whatever it might be, and offloaded all the complex issues of decentralized exchanges to our backend, to our smart contracts. For example, like I mentioned, the gasless trading. I know this has been parroted by so many people, and unfortunately, we're trying to figure out how to take back that word because in reality, like people that are saying that their platform supports gasless trading, it only supports a certain amount of tokens. I think it's like 10 or 20 tokens on the entire Ethereum network because it requires to get this Ethereum upgrade. Whereas our application will support gasless trading for literally every single token on the Ethereum network. It's the first that we've ever seen anyone do it this way. And it allows the onboarding process to be so much simpler because now I can switch one token to another without ever having to touch Ethereum.
Wow.
It's much simpler to onboard users that way.
Just curious, are y'all utilizing like ZK rollups to like implement that?
No, it's actually, I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't have to give away the secret sauce, but you don't have to get into it. But I was curious, but well, we can dance past that. But that sounds really awesome. And I know the fact that you'd be able to swap in and out of things gasless, like you're basically spending close to nothing, is absolutely incredible. For anyone who's ever used MetaMask and used their local swap, there's quite a hefty fee that goes along with swapping in and out of things. Or even if you connect to Uniswap and some of these other dexes out there, et cetera, you are going to spend some money. And if you're telling me that like we'll be able to do it on this native wallet and spend next to nothing, that's very appetizing.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's going to be really cool. We're very excited about that functionality. And we're, like I said, we're trying to take back that word somehow. We're passing it off to our marketing department to see how we do that.
Gotcha. Well, good luck on that. And I also know that y'all have been busy going to some in-person events, and I believe that you are going to be at Consensus.
Yes. Yeah. I actually haven't booked my tickets yet, but we are going to be at Consensus. It's with everything going on, it's like the last thing on my mind. But yeah, no, we're excited to be going to Consensus, and we're actually organizing an event, essentially like an after party. This is honestly going to be very exclusive, and it's going to be utilized to essentially springboard our wallet launch and everything else. So there's going to be influencers and C-level people from companies, and if you're interested, an invite's waiting for you as well. And if anyone else is out there, if you're interested, we'll have, follow us on Twitter. We'll post the link, but it will be invite only. So there will be a very small group of people selected to be able to attend.
I appreciate it, and definitely am interested in checking that out. So we'll have to talk offline more about that, man. But obviously, Aurochs has a lot of exciting things on the horizon, and have been in build mode, and have been growing, and have a lot of solid things in place. Like as you kind of like take a step back and look at the last year of work, what do you think are some of the big lessons that you were able to take away that you're kind of using moving forward?
Really just, putting your head down and working. Like when you pay attention, is as far like I understand, we have investors and, in markets like this, they're worried, but as a company owner, I just can't, monitor the markets constantly. Like it just gives you more added anxiety for no reason. All you have to do is build a great product, and then the market will recognize that. So during times like this, and even when it's going up, just put your head down and just keep moving forward and create the product that you envisioned, because that's what the investors invested in the first place. They invested in the vision that you had. So accomplish that vision and, keep moving forward.
Absolutely. That's a good one. Focus is a really key component, because it's very easy in the world of crypto to look at the next shiny thing or to constantly be stimulated because it's 24 hours and there's always some new buzzword to be learning about and chasing and et cetera. And sometimes you just got to block out the noise and focus on whatever it is that you're working on or building. So I think that is definitely a good reminder. What do you think have been, as you've observed some of the different signals and things that your users have been using on Aurochs so far, what do you think have been some lessons or some things that you observed that your users are doing that you didn't anticipate?
I mean, I think that there's a lot of our users, essentially, actually a significant amount of users came into our terminal as beginners. I anticipated them to, slowly get started, but some people just jumped right in and they were just started crushing it. Like our average session time on the platform is like 2 to 3 hours or something, and some of them are online for like 8 to 12 hours. It's insane. But they're actively trading and they're doing a great job. So I'm surprised as how easy some of these beginners went from just throwing like a few $100s into some random token that caught their eye to actually watching charts on a 24-hour basis. They essentially just became like a small hedge fund in their own living room, literally overnight. So it's been interesting seeing them grow. And I get like emails on a daily basis. It's like, yeah, hey, thanks for doing this. Like, I really appreciate it. Blah blah blah. And it's really nice to hear some of that. I'm just surprised at how quickly some of these users have changed their lives and made some amazing investments.
Yeah. And I mean, that's really amazing. And it goes to show that for anyone that's listening to this right now, especially if you've ever had any ambition on trying to learn more about day trading, about how can you start to do this and have some tools and resources to do that. I believe y'all do have some like educational pieces on how to utilize your platform and look at some different things. And then you can literally, if you have a little bit of money, you can start off, try it out, see what happens. And I mean, you heard it from G himself, the CEO of Aurochs, how people have come in, utilized the tools, and have been able to grow it into a lifestyle, have been able to grow it into a way that they are now, not just changing their lives, but can utilize those skills to keep finding alpha and be ahead of some of these other coins as they are coming out. Because, I mean, I think G would agree with me, we're still super early in this space, and there's still a whole lot more opportunity left out there to be captured if people are willing to put in the time.
Yeah. And then that's exactly, the time is exactly it. I understand, people have, the regular jobs and stuff, but like I mentioned before, it's all about honing the skill. Like no one just overnight becomes a computer programmer. Like it takes years and years and years of effort. So spending some time, utilize like usually the people that we see, for example, on our platform that have spent a month on it, they retain for like almost an entire year and past that.
Wow.
The people that just jump in and jump out, they just, obviously we lose like, I think 30% of the users within the first session. And then the rest, the retention is like insanely high. So those people that are just jumping in and jumping out, they're stuck in this mindset of like, I'm going to invest in the next Shiba and like, make $10 million for my $500 investment. That's not really, that's investing, but it's not really trading either. So if you're wanting to be a trader, it does take a little bit of time, and it's another skill to develop.
For sure. And I think that's a good humbling remembrance, because there are a lot of people out there like, oh yeah, I would love to find the next Shiba Inu. But the other piece of this is if you're trading, if you're considering, you're starting to develop these skills where you see these patterns or these things that keep reoccurring across successful opportunities, you can start to, have some alpha out there that you've developed on your own just from spending the time and being a part of it. Everyone wants to get rich quick, right? Like G said at the beginning of this, like if he was just making money as it goes up and up and up, like he'd own the world at this point. But you have to put in the time. You got to keep learning, and Aurochs is a way that you have the opportunity to go and do that. So for everyone listening, make sure you go and check them out. We'll of course have all of the links and everything else in here. But G, as we wrap up, I have a couple of just fun questions that I want to wrap with. And one that comes to mind is when we step back and we look at 2022, how do you think it will be remembered? So 2022, the year of X, what do you think X is?
I think it's going to be more about especially in a market like this. I think it's about the development. Every time we, and this is again why we're focusing so much on development as well. Every time we drop, the market drops like this, the development picks up and the innovations in this field are like skyrocket. When it's a bull market, all these companies are spending like 90% of their budget on marketing. But when it drops, we see these companies are creating unicorns, or at least the companies that are managed properly. They're creating unicorns for the next phase. So I think it's going to be I don't know what a baby unicorn is called, but it's going to be essentially like baby unicorns that are being born this year and getting ready for that next phase of their lives. It happened in 2017, 2018. All these companies, the DeFi companies that sprung up, if you didn't know them, they were around back then too, but that really took off in 2020 because what they did was they spent 3 years, like 90% of their budget, literally developing and building some incredible products. I don't think we're going to have 3 years, but over in 2022, maybe a good portion of this year, I mean, we're already getting close to the end of the year, but a good portion of this year is going to be spent on developing incredible products and waiting for that new uptick to come in.
For sure. And I think that is really good insight. And as a developer, listening to a lot of different people who have come on here. So I am myself not a developer, but listening to developers who have come on the show and have talked about this, they say when it's bearish and it's not bullish times, just like you said, they can put their head down and get to work. They're not having to worry about the next thing. They can just build these really, really good unicorns. And right now we've almost had 6 months of that ability. And it's we might have a little bit more to come, but like there will be a turning point. And when that happens, and now you have this amazing product, and now you are ready to spend the money, and now things are going up. The timing almost is like ideal. So I think that 2022 still has a lot of excitement left in it. And I think for those who are building right now and not so much worried about the marketing piece, there will be the fruits of your labor are to come. So I appreciate that sentiment, man. And as we kind of wrap up here, what is a final thought that you want to leave with everybody?
I mean, if you're involved in this market, really just if you're stressed about the losses that you might have, gotten in this past few months, as long as you're investing in proper projects, you're fine. Like the market always recovers. Just turn off your phone for a bit. Stop, refreshing CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap on a minute basis. If you've invested in companies that have potential, and there's a lot of them out there. Like, I mean, you could literally throw a dart on the wall and most likely land on a great company. There's a lot of good companies out there. Yeah, they're all down 70, 80%. But, if I wish I had bought Bitcoin back in 2017 when it was at $20,000. And that was the peak back then. So, just stay calm. Like it's not end of the world. Everything's going to recover. Those companies are still like us, continuing development and continuing working, and they're waiting for that next opportunity to really just hit it out of the park.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good final thought. For your long-term plays, it's going to work itself out. Of course, if you want to make the money in between, Aurox is a good way to be able to provide that opportunity. But in the grand scheme of crypto and the companies that are out here, in a long-term play, you typically win. So I think that's a good final reminder. Really appreciate your time today. For everyone listening, of course, go check out Aurox. You can learn more on their website at getaurox.com. G, where are some other places they can learn more about you?
They can go to our Twitter, twitter.com/getaurox, or our Telegram. I think it's like tg.me or something, or t.me /getaurox if you want to join our Telegram. But just all those social media links are on our website. If you are going to Austin and you want to potentially get the invites to our event, we're going to be posting the link in the next few days. So check that out, and then we'll send out the invites shortly after that.
Perfect. Well, you heard it here. Everyone, make sure you go and check that out. I know I'm looking forward to go and checking it out again myself. And for everyone listening, stay cryptocurrent.